Hi, and welcome to the next in our series of LED lighting. LED lighting for workshops, small businesses, and farms. In today's video, we're going to talk about LED tubes. These are the T8 1-inch diameter tubes, 4 feet long. So what do they look like? Here's an example of a 4-foot LED tube. It's 17 watts of power. It's made of plastic. It's designed to last a long time and designed to replace a 4-foot fluorescent T8 bulb. That's what most people have already, is the fluorescent T8s. The bulb will be marked as LED, or it may say Instant Fit on the bulb. That's a trademark name, but it also indicates LED. And it works with ballasts that are marked as Instant Start or are LED specific ballasts. So how do you know if your ballasts inside of your fixture are compatible with LED? Well, there's 4 main types of ballasts that exist out there. The first will say LED right on it, so it's a brand new one. If you want to make sure it always works, go get one of those, put it in. A little more expensive, but they're very efficient and they work great with LED tubes. If you have a slightly older ballast that says Instant Start electronic, that also will work with LED tubes. You can tell if you have one of those if your lights, as they are now, come on right away when you turn the switch, so come on instantly. And it's a good indication you've got that right ballast. If you have a rapid start ballast, those will not work with LED tubes. So in that older style, they also come on right away with the older tubes, but they put the bulb in, it will not work. So it's best to check that if you have one of those. If you have a program start electronic ballast, it will not work with LED tubes. Those are the ballasts that you turn the switch and the lights come on about a second later. Those ones will not work with LED. So let's take a look at some of these LED tubes in action.
So I'm down here in part of the workshop and I've got a couple fluorescents opened up. These are 2-lamp 4-foot fluorescents. Here's one that's opened up. This has T8 bulbs in it. And the ballast, as you can see there's the ballast, is a rapid start. So this one will not support LED, but it does support the T8 fluorescent. So I put an LED in there and it just won't work. This fixture over here is also 2-lamp 4-foot. I just have one bulb in it. This has a newer electronic ballast in it, which is an Instant Start, and this one has an LED tube. You can tell it's just quite bright. So it's just one tube in there compared to the other one down over there. So anyway, the LEDs work quite well, and they work great down in this cold crawl space.
Okay, so let's do a bit of analysis of these fixtures. So let's compare our 17-watt LED to a 32-watt fluorescent tube. Both are 4 feet long, 1 inch. And we'll look at a fixture that's very common, 2 bulbs inside of a 4-foot fixture, as shown in the diagram. So if we look at some of the financial information, here's what the older fixture would have as an operating cost, typically. If we run this fixture quite heavily, so let's say it's used quite a bit, it's on 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, 50 weeks a year, that's a total hours per year of 3,600 hours. And the watts used by that fixture are 32 watts times 2 bulbs, times the ballast factor of the ballast, which gives somewhere around 60 watts as a good average. The cost per kilowatt hour, let's say, is 30 cents, is a blended rate. So the operating cost for that fixture for the year is $65, and a 5-year cost to run it is 65 times 5, plus bulb replacements as we need to, so $330 or so. If we put in 17-watt LED tubes in that same fixture, run it for the same amount of time, 3,600 hours, it only uses 34 watts, maybe a bit more depending on the ballast factor of the ballast, but 34 watts typically. Cost is the same per kilowatt hour. And our operating cost turns out to be $34, and a 5-year cost, no bulb replacement, because they last a long time, these LED tubes, around $170. So if we compare the two options, the older fixture, $330, the new fixture, $170, so we're saving $160 over 5 years, which is about $30 a year. Not too bad. Now the LED tubes typically cost around $20 per bulb. So if we have a 2-lamp or 2-bulb fixture for $40, within less than 2 years, that the bulb replacement has paid for itself. And every year after, you save $31. So is this a good deal? Well, I think yes. Many different reasons. The LED bulb, there's no mercury in there. Usually they last for at least 50,000 hours as they're rated, which over 10 years of heavy use. They work fine in the cold. They're great in cold areas. They're stronger. They're plastic, as I said, instead of glass. It's also directional light, which means that you get more light aimed down away from the fixture. make sure when you do put the LED tubes in, it'll tell you how to do it, but you put the label at the back, or the brand name is at the back. It'll point to that. That way the LEDs are pointing down. Many times, because they're quite bright and they're directional, you can put in one bulb in a 2-lamp fixture or 2 bulbs in a 4-lamp fixture. So I can have a fixture with just 1 bulb, or a 4-lamp fixture that normally has 4, and just put 2 in, and then I've got half the power, half the watt with very similar light. And you can also dim LEDs. Something else to mention is in Ontario and Canada there are rebate programs, one called SaveOnEnergy.ca, it's Ontario government, for retrofit of old fixtures. So let's look at an example of how we could use LED lights in a retrofit project. One of the programs they have is called Engineered Rebates, which gives the greater of $400 per kilowatt of savings, of energy savings, or 5 cents per kilowatt hour of the first year savings. So let's do a quick calculation and see what an example project saving could be. Let's say we're going to replace 100 bulbs of older T8 fluorescents with new LED tubes. And let's say it's 50 fixtures, each with 2 tubes. So 50 fixtures of those 2-lamp 4-foot fixtures. The old bulb's energy used is 60 watts times 50 fixtures, so 3 kilowatts. And the kilowatt hours used, if we use our 3600 hour example, is over 10,000 kilowatt hours per year. In the new bulbs for the LED, we've got 34 watts times 50, which is 1.7 kilowatts. Turns out to be a little over 6,000 kilowatt hours per year. So the energy saved in kilowatts is 1.3 times 400, which gives $520. So we could get a rebate in this program of $520 for this project of replacing 100 bulbs. Energy saved in kilowatt hours turns out to be a bit less, around $234. So we would choose the kilowatt energy saving option and get $520 back on the project. So if you're in Ontario, look at the LED bulbs and make sure you check out the rebates at SaveOnEnergy.ca. It's in the retrofit section. Make sure you choose LED for your next project, and thank you very much for your time.